Do you wish that you could walk longer distances, but arthritic joint pain and stiffness keeps holding you back? Do you wish you could go to the grocery store, go on a hike, or even just simply walk around your neighborhood without paying for it later? Well, I'm a physical therapist that specializes in helping people with arthritis. And in this video, we are going to go over the top 2 things that can open the doors to walking longer distances. But I want you to stick till the end because we're also going to go over one thing to avoid. This thing, a lot of people think that it actually helps, but it can be hindering your progress and making walking actually more difficult. So here we go. Are you able to stand on one leg confidently? Or does it feel difficult? Do you experience significant pain when doing this? Or do you just not feel confident putting full weight through each leg? This is the very first thing to master when it comes to walking longer distances. If you think about it, walking essentially is taking your weight and shifting it to one leg and then shifting it to the other over and over and over again. And if you don't feel confident putting full weight through each leg, this can lead to some limping, some hobbling, and pain when walking. Say I don't feel confident putting all of my weight on my right side. Essentially, what your body's going to want to do is try to get off that leg as quickly as possible. So as I step on this right side, we're going to very quickly try to get off that side. So if your walking looks like this, or if you don't feel confident putting weight through each leg, I'm going to show you my top 2 favorite movements to start with. Now you can use support. You can use support on the side, or you can use it in front, depending on how much support you do need. I want you to take your feet about shoulder width apart. And what you're going to do is lift one heel and then the other. This is going to help you start working on weight shifting. And the reason why I like this movement in particular is because if you have difficulty putting full weight on each side, just trying like a marching or trying to shift your weight is not going to be helpful and likely is going to increase pain. But with this modification, I'm keeping both feet on the ground, but I am shifting my weight. So this is going to avoid flaring up your pain. Now you can use 2-handed support. If you find yourself moving your shoulders a lot, or if you find yourself maybe losing your balance or experiencing significant pain, increase the support that you're using. Using support is not a sign of weakness. I would rather have you do this exercise correctly with all the support in the world than try to muster through it with compensations, increasing pain, etc. So don't be afraid to use support, especially in the beginning. I like to set a timer for this one, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and see how many you can do. Now, taking this a step further, once you've been able to master this without experiencing significant pain, significant stiffness during or after, the next thing to focus on is going to be taking our steps and shifting weight at the same time. Again, you can use support for this one. I highly recommend, especially if this is one of the first times you're doing this. I'm going to stand on my left side first. I'm going to now take my right side and take a step forward and take a step backwards. Forward and backwards. Now this, of course, emulates walking. I'm shifting all of my weight to my left side as I step through. Trying 12 to 15 repetitions of this can be a great place to start. Then you will shift to the other side and you will do the same exact thing. The bigger step you take, the harder this will be. So you can start with a smaller step and then increase that distance as you feel confident with this. Again, if you're seeing a lot of shifting in your shoulders, or you're experiencing pain while doing this, use support. You can use support in the front, or you can use support on the side, whichever feels more comfortable to you. Trying those 2 movements can help you to get more confident putting full weight on each side. Now, aside from weight shifting, the second thing to focus on when you're looking at unlocking walking longer distances is adding variety. And I often find about 90% of people, especially people with arthritis, are missing this key component. Think about it. When's the last time you've moved sideways or moved backwards? Unless you're playing sports or purposefully including these movements into your routine, you're likely missing out on this. Now, you have muscles that move you forward, that move you sideways, and that move you backwards. As humans, we spend a majority of our lives moving forwards. But you have muscles that help to move you sideways and move you backwards. These muscles are incredibly important to support your joints, especially the hip, the spine, the knee, the ankle. If you're not moving in these directions, you're likely missing out on challenging and activating these muscles, meaning you're missing out on that support, which can increase irritation and increase pain. So if you're looking to make walking easier, adding variety is incredibly important. Now, two of the most basic ways to start out with this is simply moving in those two directions. The very first thing I like to do, especially when looking at sideways, is by standing on one leg and stepping to the side. Again, support is imperative, especially if you're just getting started or you have a lot of movement in the upper body. Trying 10 to 20 of these on each side can be a great place to start. I like to start here because you are focusing on just one leg at a time. So I'm focusing on putting most of my weight on the left and stepping with the right. Versus if you just go into an alternating stepping sideways, you're constantly having to weight shift. So if you've mastered weight shifting, you can add in this alternating side step. But if you're still working on that, focus on just keeping your weight on one leg and stepping with the other. Now we can do the same thing when it comes to backward stepping. Using support if necessary, stepping back and coming forwards. Now, the bigger step you take, the harder this will be, so keep that in mind. You want the rest of your body to be quiet as you're stepping. If you have a lot of accessory movement, maybe forwards, or you have that movement in your upper body, please use support. As your body's getting used to these new directions, you may experience some discomfort. And discomfort tends to be okay and is normal. But if you're experiencing significant pain, I would first experiment with adding support, especially double-handed support. You can also reduce the range of motion that you're going, both sideways and backwards. The more that you work into these directions, the easier they should become, but they should not flare up your pain significantly. So please modify if needed. I like to use both sideways and backwards movements, 10 to 20 repetitions each side in each direction. Now the thing to avoid. A common theory of thinking, especially when you're working on walking, is if I want to get better at walking, I have to walk more. But this can actually hinder your progress. Say you typically go out for a mile walk, but you come back and you experience significant pain, you experience stiffness, and end up paying for it later. Every time that you trigger a flare-up or you trigger significant pain, think about digging a hole. Each time you continue to push past that threshold you can handle, each time you trigger that pain, you dig a little deeper. Then you're trying to spend time to climb out of that. Then you go for another walk and end up paying for it later. You dig a little deeper. And you're constantly in this state of trying to recover and then pushing past that threshold again, trying to recover and pushing past that threshold. You can see how this can lead to increased pain and increased difficulty when walking. When you start to associate walking with pain, you start to anticipate pain. You start to avoid walking, or maybe you change the way you're walking in attempts to reduce that pain. or to reduce the anticipation of pain. More walking is not always better. Incorporating these movements that I mentioned previously and spending more time working on the mechanics of walking, working on the movements that are going to help make walking easier, are going to help open the doors to being able to walk longer distances. It will come if you're focusing on the right things. I also have another video if you're looking on increasing your speed of walking that I will put down below in the description. It is possible to be able to walk longer distances. I have people who have gone through our programs and have been able to walk around Disney World or have been able to walk around Costco. It can be done, but you need the right steps. If you want some further help, I have a free 4-day challenge that's going to walk you through 4 workouts with me, working on lots of the things we talked about here, as well as building strength and improving balance. Both of these can help to skyrocket your confidence when it comes to dealing with arthritis. I want to thank you so much for watching, and if this video was helpful, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below because I have lots more videos where this came from, and I am in your corner when it comes to finding arthritis pain relief. I believe in you.